Hello everybody, welcome back for another News I Missed, where I go over news I missed. To start things off, first a very special thank you to every single person who has subscribed to my new channel. The description is in the link below. Thank you all very, very much for your support. And without further ado, let's jump right into it. The largest bank in the United States is singing a new tune about Bitcoin. JP Chase is now offering banking services to cryptocurrency exchanges Coinbase and Gemini in a pivotal and critical turn for Bitcoin and digital assets as an emerging mainstream form of money. The Wall Street Journal reports that JP Chase will allow Coinbase and Gemini customers based in the United States to make ACH, automated clearinghouse withdrawals and transfers, marking the end of the bank's anti-crypto era led by Jamie Dimon, the industry's most outspoken crypto critic. Dimon called Bitcoin a fraud in September of 2017. The chief executive went a step further when he threatened to fire any stupid employees caught trading the cryptocurrency. He said, I think his words were, if anyone who works for JP Morgan is caught trading or buying Bitcoin, whether at work or on their own time, they'll be fired. And I was like, that's a bit extreme because I'm pretty sure you've been buying Bitcoin yourself. Lo and behold, he had been. That position has melted in the wake of the macroeconomic landscape that is awash in money printing, instability, mounting debt, shrinking GDP, and a tumultuous stock market that has left investors looking for a edge. According to the Wall Street Journal, which cited unnamed sources because, of course, why not? Coinbase and Gemini accounts were approved by JP Chase in April. This is the first time that the banking giant has onboarded a crypto business as a client. The banking relationship will allow the exchange's customers to complete withdrawals, wire transfers, and wire transfers, what year is this? And deposits to and from Coinbase and Gemini. It's to be, listen, here's the Wall Street Journal article. JP Morgan extends banking services to Bitcoin exchanges. I mentioned this in 2017. I said it's fairly clear. All of these institutions, all of these people who've come out negatively or hatingly or I don't likingly about Bitcoin, I said they're focusing far too much on Bitcoin. Why would you be putting so much attention on Bitcoin? My idea was at the time, and still is, they're just trying to lower the price. If these industry heavyweights, the Jamie Dimons, the Warren Buffetts, don't really care about Bitcoin, if Bitcoin's going to die and simply vanish in a couple of years, if there's no real use case for Bitcoin, why care about it? How many times have you heard Jamie Dimon or Warren Buffett or Peter Schiff talk negatively about Litecoin or about Tron or about any other coin? It's because they don't care about them in that one particular way. It's more so they see that Bitcoin and saw that Bitcoin was a threat. So my idea was for a while they were simply trying to lower the price. And I think that's exactly what happened. Nearly everyone except for Mr. Schiffy and Mr. Buffetty have come forward and said, okay, Bitcoin's not that bad, or have announced that they own Bitcoin or trying to get into Bitcoin futures. They're trying to get some sort of exposure to the actual asset class, what have you. Oh yeah, no, even Peter Schiff owns Bitcoin. He mentioned it before. Remember, this happened about 2 months ago. He had Bitcoin from somewhere. He said that the network was broken and he couldn't get his money out. And then the news that actually came out after that was that he forgot his password. He forgot his password, couldn't access his money, and said that the network was broken because he was restricted from accessing his funds. The point is, all of these people know exactly how strong Bitcoin is, how big Bitcoin is going to become, and now they're just simply slugging their way, as in like an actual slug, into the cryptocurrency market. And once again, I assume that JP Morgan itself, the actual bank, and Jamie Dimon probably hold huge swaths of Bitcoin because you normally don't start partnerships or anything like this without getting into yourself. And especially as a bank, if you can allocate 0.10% of the money that you have into an asset class that could potentially do well, you do so. Anyway, This was all over the place. I understand why it's big news, but this was going to happen at some point. When you have other banks around the world who are also actively trying to buy, sell, hold, and trade and get you interested into the cryptocurrency space, the other banks who are now offering interest rates on Bitcoin, I mean, come on, stop it. Like, this is, are we just kidding ourselves at this point? We know exactly where this is all going to go. The same exact people, the same exact institutions who hated Bitcoin now are offering it, seemingly loving it, owning it themselves, and starting to offer interest rates. I mean, you can clearly see where things are, in my opinion, where things are going to be going in the next 10 to 15 years. When we have every single bank in 15 years either allowing you to custody your Bitcoin, hold it with them, offering some type of an interest rate, don't look back and go, wow, I didn't see this coming. It's so blatantly obvious. Why would the largest... Anyway, the point is, this is going to accelerate as time ends up going on. If we end up getting to the point sometime this year, who knows, where Bitcoin goes over $20,000, expect nearly every single bank, if the largest bank in America is doing it, expect every other bank below them, as it were, to also start offering or saying, you know, we're also offering bank accounts to crypto. You know, we see it as such as a space that has so much room to grow. It's like, cut the nonsense. All of you have been trying to get into this for so many years. I don't know why they're so afraid to just announce that they're into cryptocurrencies. Like, we know that they're blatantly into cryptocurrencies. The people from the New York Stock Exchange and the NASDAQ have been buying Bitcoin since 2014. Stop it. Let's move on. Absolute nonsense, all of that. Next up, CNBC anchor Joe Kernan, says he is now a Bitcoin investor. In a new interview with venture capitalist Chamath Palpitaya, I can never say his last name and it bothers me so much. I've heard it 1,000 times. Chamath, Kernan says about 3% of his wealth is invested in the largest cryptocurrency. Didn't see that one coming. He said, and I quote, I have to disclose I own like 3 cents out of $1 or something. He's trying to say 3% of his portfolio. You know what I mean. I have to disclose that I own it, but Paul Tudor Jones made the case yesterday, and yesterday was the halving. So the stock to flow has now gone up, end quote. All of these, listen to my words. All of these people own Bitcoin in some sort of way. I'm not sure how wealthy, how much money this guy has in general, and how much 3% of his net worth is. Please pay attention to all these rich people who are buying up huge amounts of cryptocurrency. Do you understand how much, even if this person is worth $10 million, how much 3% is? These people have been buying up crypto for a very long time. And I'm going to repeat this one more time. The amount of Bitcoin that you think is actually circulating around there is not the amount of Bitcoin circulating. A lot of times we get the metric that there's still so much Bitcoin out there because of this exchange holds this much, this exchange holds that much. When we look at the numbers for the amount of cryptocurrencies on a cryptocurrency exchange, it's not that Binance owns that much Bitcoin. Is that there are other people who are simply leaving their coins on there or custodying it, air quotes, with Binance, and that money doesn't always circulate around. The amount of Bitcoin that people think is actually like rapidly, actively moving around is not the case. People are buying it and holding it. It's sitting on the cryptocurrency exchange because it's simply sitting on the actual cryptocurrency exchange. There's, you know what I'm going to say. There's so few Bitcoin actually circulating around, and people will not get it until they cannot afford it. And that's going to be the worst part. When people can no longer obtain a tenth of a Bitcoin easily, an entire Bitcoin easily, it's going to hit them very hard. This isn't even coordinated. These people are coming out with this actual news. We know that banks and institutions are owning it and holding it. We know that all these companies and the CMEs and the BACs and the NASDAQ and the New York Stock Exchange and the Fidelities and all these other rich people, Jamie Dimon probably doesn't just own one Bitcoin. You have to think about this a little bit further. It's all, I'm not screaming at all of you. It's more like the fact that people don't get it is just mind-boggling to me. It's completely nuts. It's part of a long-term transition from the former Wall Street stockbroker who was initially skeptical on crypto assets. Sure. On the latest episode of Squawk Box, Kernan asked Palpitaya about the impact of the announcement that billionaire investor Paul Tudor Jones is bullish on Bitcoin. Palpitaya says the fact that Jones is now one of Bitcoin's most high-profile investors is giving the crypto markets a boost in credibility, he said. Now you're seeing a lot of lines of different thinking converge. When we started to believe in the long-term value of Bitcoin, it was a store of value in that schmuck insurance that you kept under your mattress. And there was a small cohort of us that believed this for almost 10 years. Now, I don't have to read the rest of it. This guy, Chamath, is incredibly bullish on Bitcoin. I mean, 5 times a week. How many times do we get news that all of these investors who either didn't come out before about it, or at some point they go, yeah, I mean, and I assure you, listen, the only reason why this guy even made sure to mention and said the words, I have to disclose that I own it, is because someone probably realized behind the scenes he was talking about it on TV and they were like, do you actually own Bitcoin? You know, you have to say if you do, right? Because it was clear that this guy was, anyway. I hope you all get it. I know a lot of you do. If you are new to the channel or new to the space, please understand that a lot of the stuff that's been happening over the last 6 years, and that's not a fake number, the last 6 years have been just incredible. Incredible. The amount of people, I'm not even talking about the price rises. The amount of people who once were naysayers, and I knew they were not naysayers, were completely into the cryptocurrency space the entire time. These people have been making massive amounts of money buying huge swaths of cryptocurrencies, and a lot of times I don't even think it's exclusively just Bitcoin. I think a lot of them we've even seen before the hedging of bets. I expect, I predict, I assume they're buying huge amounts of Bitcoin, Ether, and I want to say a fair amount of XRP. I don't think they're buying as much as they are with Ether and Bitcoin, but we've had information before, especially from other funds that have been acquiring huge amounts of Bitcoin and Ether. XRP tends to be anywhere between a good 1 to 5% of that portfolio as well. While 1 to 5% may not sound like a lot to you, if you're talking about billions of dollars, it ends up becoming a lot. Anyway, yeah, a CNBC anchor now also owns Bitcoin. I had no idea. That was, wow, I am totally shocked. I had no clue at all. Let's move on. Next up, where are the words? There we go. Binance is approaching an all-time high in new user registrations as it continues to expand around the world, facilitating crypto trading in different jurisdictions as more countries ease their regulatory framework to adapt quickly to this new era. Binance has seen an increase in the activity and user base in days before the Bitcoin halving. Inactive users have started resetting their passwords and begun trading again. The CEO and founder of Binance, Changpeng Zhao, said during the consensus, he said the new user registrations are picking up very aggressively, like getting close to the sort of generated under 2018. All of those indicators are very clear. The activity level is definitely much higher than even 3 or 4 months ago, end quote. One of the best parts for me, Binance registered the highest volume of transactions during the last 30 days before the halving, an entire month before the halving, reporting movements of $184 billion US dollars. 184 billion. According to CoinMarketCap, placing it at the top of a list with over 330 exchanges. Why is that insane? Do you know how much money $184 billion is? If you look at this article right here, one of my favorite articles from forever ago, it was exactly a year. We had information that Bitcoin alone, Bitcoin by itself, no other coin, had transacted over $1.3 trillion worth of value. Here's the chart right here, and if you even read around here, this wasn't the first time. The news is that Bitcoin transactions had surpassed or pushed past PayPal. This was not the first time that this had also happened. It has happened twice. Here's the other, all the blue are Bitcoin. It's passed by Discover Card, sure. It's passed by PayPal. And this is 2017 was when everything kind of went insane. 2019 was, the year. 2018, 2019 were price dip years. Imagine if Bitcoin has another bull run, like a crazy, excessive, insane bull run. We're going to pass by Visa, MasterCard, and whatever this logo is, I cannot read that for the life of me. Think of the amount of momentum and people around the world who have to be using these systems in order for Bitcoin alone to transact 1.3 trillion is insane. That's worth more than countries around the world. That's not even half a joke. So for Binance alone, the crypto exchanges just listed, the ones that are listed and big enough to be listed or real enough, regulated enough to be listed on CoinMarketCap, out of 330 of them, I'm going to assume there are more around the world, to transact in 30 days, $184 billion. The cryptocurrency space is so massive and so large, and I don't think it'll take a while for the news to let you know how big that it actually is. The fact that Bitcoin can transact alone more than many countries are worth should logically be making the news everywhere. When we talk about actual financial news and CNBC and what's happening to the market and the global economy, Bitcoin is a huge section of the actual global economy. So it's a little weird, right, that you don't hear about it on a daily basis, especially, and it's not even that these numbers are fake or fraudulent, because we can see all these transactions happening on the blockchain. We can add them all up and we can see how much value has been transacted back and forth. It's also really weird. Think about this. How many other companies are not doing well, have been failing over the last couple of months as all of this has been going on? How many times have you heard from CNBC, ABC, Fox News, I don't care where you get your news from, about Binance or Coinbase or any other company who's doing exceedingly well in the cryptocurrency space? Imagine there are companies who are losing billions of dollars. Their stock values have been plummeting, or even their companies maybe are worth 2, 3, 4, 5 billion. Bam. Imagine a company who deals in cryptocurrencies in 1 month transacting $184 billion. That's worth more than a huge amount of the actual companies on the stock market. Kind of weird that you're not hearing about that in the news, right? Because that would, if we actually had proper news and this news was actually reported, you know how many people would jump into the cryptocurrency space overnight? But it all happens because, and I don't care to use the words they, you know who they are. They don't really want you in the cryptocurrency space. You're not supposed to know about all of this stuff. Normal people don't pay attention to news about JP Morgan Chase or any other type of financial news. So it kind of completely goes over their heads. And the fact that we end up getting this news, like, you could tell your friends right now, find a friend, phone a friend, tell them, make sure that they're not into the cryptocurrency space. Say, hey, you know what's crazy? Binance transacted $184 billion last month. They're either going to send back an emoji, the letters LOL, or say, what's Binance? You'll then explain to them what Binance is and the significance of the actual movement of that money. And they'll go, dude, I got to go take a shower. I got to go outside. They won't care because they're made not to care. Anyway, is this also it? Yeah, this is also the other thing. That's that news for today. If we had the actual news that should actually be out there, the cryptocurrency space would be a very different place. But as it stands, we now have an enormous amount of rich people who are trying to accumulate as much Bitcoin as they possibly can without other people knowing. I mean, come on. It's all a little bit too obvious. Like, think about that. How many of you on the news, listening to the news last year, how many of you heard from any of your local news outlets or any news outlet, besides a cryptocurrency one, that Bitcoin had surpassed transactions higher than PayPal or even Discover Card? That seems pretty newsworthy to me. Something that came out at that point 10 years ago had gone past PayPal, which has been around for about, 20 years? Or Discover Card, and is only a couple, 100 billion away from passing by Visa and MasterCard. This isn't even like a double. Bitcoin doesn't even have to double the amount of transactions to actually pass by Visa and MasterCard. And I assure you, when Bitcoin does more yearly transaction volume than Visa and MasterCard, it is not going to make the news. But logically, it should, right? One would assume so. That's insane. And that's just Bitcoin alone. That's not even talking about the wider cryptocurrency space. It's made so that you don't pay attention, so that the rich do, and at some point they'll tell you to pay attention once they own enough of it, which will only help to make them richer. Anyway, that's that news. And yes, let's move on. Next up, the Ministry of Finance of Vietnam has decided to set up a research group that would focus on studying and proposing policies to regulate cryptocurrencies in the country. According to a local news report, Vietnam's Ministry of Finance has announced that they are going to set up a research group that would study virtual assets and cryptocurrencies. The group would also be responsible for proposing regulations to manage cryptocurrencies within the country. The vice chairman of the State Securities Commission, Pham Hong Son, will lead the 9-member group to study cryptocurrencies. The other members of the group are from the, I'm not reading all those names. As of now, there are no crypto regulations in Vietnam, leaving the industry in a gray area. However, there is no restriction in the country on trading cryptocurrencies on exchanges as goods or asset, but the central bank of the country has declared the use of Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies as a means of payment as illegal. Who's surprised? Anyone? Put your hand down. No one here should be surprised that the central bank is declaring payments of them illegal. Please, whatever. I don't. Not even important. The issue is, and I'll tell you what the issue is. This country has probably come to the conclusion, hey, other countries are making money. Other countries have found a way to profit from this. And once again, also they see the development of the cryptocurrency space as it is evolving, if you will. So here's the actual news right here from en.vietnamplus.vn. It says ministry to set up research group on cryptocurrency. I assume the research will be how can we control it? Then it is going to be, oh, we can't control it. How do we regulate it? How do we tax it? How do we get the most money out of it? Let's make regulations to be able to have these companies come to our country and or develop already here within the country to try and make some extra revenue as well. Because that's just how things go. It's always the same. It's can we ban it? Yes, but no. People will still be able to use it. How do we regulate it? Oh, you can't regulate Bitcoin. Well, we'll figure out how to tax it. And that's kind of where that's going to go. So yeah, I mean, not really much more to say. I hope they do nothing draconian and or ridiculonian as far as the creation of their rules or regulations, because it would be a shame. There are many places around the world who would heavily benefit from the money that would come in from this industry, but we know that many countries around the world just don't. They don't deal in logic, and as such, make follies when it comes to creating regulations. Anyway, I mean, if they mess up, there are 5 other countries who are ready to take the plate. And yeah, let's move on. Next up, the Bank of England has predicted the worst economic crash since the Great Frost of 1709. Economists are less optimistic than the central bank about the rate of recovery for the United Kingdom's economy. They said current conditions are unprecedented in our lifetime, and all forecasters are struggling to make out where the economy stands now. This article is riddled with 19, and it is very difficult for me to actually read through it. The takeaways are many economists and many people believe within the BOE, the Bank of England, that things are going to get a lot more bleak within the next couple of future time. They don't give a specific time frame. Many countries have come forward talking about that they do not expect a V-shaped recovery, as it were. And they are expecting a bit more of a tumble as time ends up going on. A lot of the issues are with these tumbles comes job losses, restrictions, and other things like that. So yeah, you can kind of see the article right here, but it's very difficult to every 13th word is 19, and it's kind of like okay, I don't want to do any jumping jacks. Hula hoop. What's the one where you're hopscotch? I don't want to hopscotch. Like, hula hoop. I don't have to hopscotch around it. Anyway, many other countries are coming out with this information now, telling people to kind of brace themselves. And this is why I created the other channel. It's to talk about, for those of you who don't know, it's about like financial independence, getting your money together, learning how to save, how to create passive investments, because I'm not expecting a stock market bull run anytime soon, and I'm not expecting, you know what I'm not expecting. Let's move on. And to finish things off, the world's largest cryptocurrency exchange by trading volume, Binance, has invested in the leading regulated crypto exchange in Indonesia. It is called Toko Crypto. One of the world's leading crypto exchanges, Binance, has announced its investment in the leading crypto regulated exchange in Indonesia, Toko Crypto. Toko Crypto became the first cryptocurrency exchange to be regulated by the Indonesian Commodity Futures Trading Regulatory Agency. Well, that's a title. In 2019, however, Binance did not reveal the amount it invested in the Indonesian cryptocurrency exchange. Why do they keep writing the word Indonesian? Like, we know it's Indonesian. According to the official announcement, the investment will be used to accelerate the growth of Toko Crypto's business, including new products and services. And they also, there was like a thank you somewhere to Binance, like, oh, we're so happy to be part of your team. I assume it was probably nothing substantial, air quotes, around $5 to $10 million, give or take, and nothing too absolutely insane when it comes to these kind of investments. I assume that, first of all, for those of you who don't know, Binance has been buying up everything that they possibly can within the cryptocurrency space. It's the smart things to do. If you never paid attention to how Amazon, Goggle, and many other companies make their money, you buy up the competition, or you partner with them, or you invest in them. So anything that they make, you also make. It's just how the thing, like, if you look at the actual companies that, look at the list of like the major companies, like even like Johnson & Johnson, Procter & Gamble, like look at all the companies and brands that these things actually own. You would never know that they're associated with J&J or P&G. Same exact thing with Binance. And this is why I'm always confused as to why the Gemini twins and Coinbase aren't doing more acquisitions, because in a space, in my opinion, that's going to survive, you absorb and assimilate everything around you to make sure that if you falter, if you trip, if you have some sort of other issue, well, you also own 300 other companies and they're all doing just fine. So therefore, you're also going to make money from it. But yeah, here's the actual blog post, as it were, from Binance. It says Binance invests in first regulated cryptocurrency exchange in Indonesia. It's called Toko Crypto. Cool. Not much more than that. Though Binance is in the news just about 9 times a day. I mean, they're smart. Listen, if I had Binance money, I assure you, I would be acquiring as many things as Binance has been doing as well. Just to be honest. As always, a very special thank you to my Patreon supporters. They are... Sorry, my phone was like vibrating and I was confused. Hold on, I have to sneeze. Crayola Michelle, URL, On Crypto with Lionel. Tigara Machanisa, Bake Me a Cake. Arfmedic17, Anytime Fitness, Monk's Corner Staff. Bodie McBoatface, Yes to Crypto. Miller Hitch Test Every Day and Kyle Skips Leg Day. Minting Coins, Jeremy Fox, Jim Garner, Anthony Charles, Nick Mangialavori, Paxis. Vlad the Impaler. Richie Rich 3, Nick Kanaya, Setsuna, Damian, Nicholas, Renault, One Piece, One Love, Crypto Artist, Coldy 3D, Adobo, Bankroll Network, Crypto Joe 242 to the World, Wise Night Owl, Jared Schneider, Master Ventures in Thailand, Mohamed Maroni, Adam Graysick, Todd Mullis, A Bibliophobia, The Animal Reader, John Sarson, Nostromo, Chongololo, Songololo, Martin Steuer, Joshua Vineyard, The Pothead, Moonman High, XRP, Yasha Harari, Utopia 569, and Professor Wally from Gunbot University. Thank you all very, very much for your support. Thank you to everyone who is a member of the channel. Thank you to everyone who has subscribed to the new channel. And thank you to everyone who is a clicker of affiliate links. I do appreciate you. At the moment, time of me making this video, the market's up, kind of up. The altcoins are trying to go up. Bitcoin is up. It looks like we're trying to make a push for 10,000. Who knows if this will be the case in about a good 2 to 3 hours. However, the last 24 hours have been interesting to say the least. Oh, Ethereum's over 200. Yay. I assume that's going to try and continue. This could be the beginning of the bullisher sentiment as Bitcoin's halving has officially. Isn't it weird? Bitcoin's halving has taken place. Like it feels like we were still waiting for. Like I mean we were waiting for like 400 days, but it's here. It happened. Cool. I think the next one is like in 1,000 something days, so we're not going to count that down for quite a while. I do hope that you all enjoyed. I do hope that you all are having a great day, a great morning, a great afternoon, a great evening, wherever you are, why can't I speak? Wherever you are, wherever you might be. I do hope that it's absolutely fantastic. Thank you all once again for watching and or listening, and I will most certainly be talking to you all soon. See you.